Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel ML for Analytics. I am Jyoti Dikshit and today I am going to talk about ambiguity in Power BI models. And what makes a model ambiguous and how Power BI handles ambiguity in data models. So let's get started. So I'll move to this particular page and this is the model that we are going to discuss in this particular video. So I want to highlight over here that this particular model has been taken from this particular white paper by Microsoft bidirectional cross-filtering in SQL Server Analysis Services 2016 and Power BI Desktop. I'll provide the link to this white paper in the description box below. So now let's move to this model. So over here, I can see that in this particular data model, there are four tables: store, region, customer, and sales. All are related to each other. Store is related to region by means of one-to-many relationship. So region is on the one side of the relationship, store is on the many side of the relationship. This is correct also because in one region there can be many stores. So that is why this particular relationship has been established. In case of store and sales table, again they're having one-to-many relationship. Store is on the one side of relationship, sales is on the many side of the relationship. So it can be like in one particular store, there can be many transactions, multiple transactions. So that is why we are seeing this type of relationship between these two tables. In case of region and customer, we are having again one-to-many relationship. Region is on the one side of the relationship, customer is on the many side of the relationship. So in one region, there may be multiple customers. So that is why this particular relationship is there. The fourth one is actually the sales and customer table. Customer is on the one side of the relationship and sales is on the many side of the relationship. So it can be like one customer might have many transactions. He or she has bought many things, multiple items. So that is why we are seeing this type of relationship between them. All the relationships are currently set to bidirectional, or you can say the cross filter direction is set to both. So any table can filter the other table. So you might have this question in your mind that Jyoti, okay, but what is making this model ambiguous? So this is a question that I will be answering in the first part of this particular video. So, suppose I have a question that I want to establish or obtain the distinct count of customers by store name. So, I want to know, like in the rows section of a table, I have the names of the stores and I want to know the distinct count of customer corresponding to each of those stores. Then, in this case, in I have multiple options to travel to a customer table from store table. How? So over here, what I can do is like I can go from store to region to customer. This is the first path, filter propagation path. The second filter propagation path is, of course, from store to sales to customer. Now you'll say, okay, but what's the problem in that case? The problem is, so it actually depends on the question that we are trying to answer. Suppose it actually follows the first part. It starts from store to region to customer. Then in this case, what happened? So suppose the name of the store is store 1 and ID of the store is 1. Now, if the filter propagation starts from here, it reaches here. In the region, it is actually going to obtain that particular region which corresponds to store ID equal to 1. So suppose that is Mumbai. Now, from here, again, the store ID of Mumbai suppose is again 1. And from here, suppose it reaches customer. So now in customer table, it is going to filter all those rows which belong to region ID equal to 1 or to Mumbai. So in this case, suppose it follows this path, then I am actually getting the count of those customers that belong to same region as that of that store. So uh, this is so if my question was this only, that okay, I actually want to obtain the distinct count of all those customers which belong to the same region as the store, then this is the correct answer. That will be the correct answer. But suppose that is not the question which I am trying to answer. Suppose it actually starts following the second path. It starts from customer, reaches to sales, then goes to customer. Then in this case, it is going to actually obtain the distinct count of those customers which have had transactions, some transaction from that particular store. Why? So it will actually suppose again the the store name is sales one and the ID of that store is one only. It starts from here, it reaches over here. In the sales table, it is going to filter all those rows which have store ID equal to one. So all those transactions which had happened in store ID 1, that those transactions will be filtered, and it reaches over here and it actually obtains the count of all those customers which have the same customer ID as that of the rows that were filtered. So in this case, with the table that I get will be having the distinct count of all those customers which had bought something from that particular store. So you can see that both the two parts, they are actually trying to answer different questions. And if say I wanted to obtain the distinct count of all those customers which have had some transaction from the store, and actually the model, the software, the tool, it actually follows path number one, then I'll be getting wrong answer in that case. Those counts will be actually wrong. So you now we can say this is actually an ambiguous model. So how Power BI handles this? So let's come to model view. I can see that this is actually the same model that was represented over here, but it has one variation in this particular model. So I can see that I have three relationship in solid lines and one relationship in dashed line. So why? So in this particular case, these uh, these solid lines, they are saying that these relationships, they are actually active relationships, and the dashed relationship, this particular relationship which is represented by this dashed line, it is actually an inactive relationship. So why is this inactive? So suppose I double click on this and I actually click on this, make this relationship active. I am getting this answer over here. You can't create a direct active relationship between between sales and customer, because that would introduce ambiguity between tables, customer and store. So again, the model will be having two paths, and the tool will not know which path to follow from store to customer. To make this relationship active, deactivate or delete one of the relationship between customer and store first. So it's saying either you can have the relationship uh, at the in the first case as active, or you can have the bottom relationships in active state. Then only you can actually obtain an unambiguous model. So I'll click on cancel for now. So in this particular case, suppose I have this particular model only. Suppose the bottom relationship between sales and customer is actually inactive and the uppermost is actually active. So suppose I go to report view over here and I go to demo section. So over here, what I'll do is, okay, I'll actually remove these two measures from here, and what I'll do is, I'll first of all show the formula of this particular measure, customer count. The formula of this measure is distinct count customer ID. So it is obtaining the distinct count of all the IDs in the customer table. So fair enough. Now, this store name, this particular column is actually from the store table, and this is if I actually if I'm bringing this customer count over here, then by default it will be fetching the distinct count of all those customers which belong to same region as that of store. Now suppose I actually wanted to answer different question. I actually wanted to know the distinct count of all those customers which have bought something from these stores. Then what will happen? You will say we will have to activate this relationship and make this relationship as an inactive one. But if I do so, and suppose I actually wanted to keep both of them, I actually wanted to obtain both region, the distinct count of customer by region as well as by the transactions, then what am I supposed to do? I am not I can't actually make both of them active, and one of them can be in active state at a time. So what am I going to do? Then the answer to this question is actually usage of tax. So over here, I'll go to this. This is customer count by transaction. And as you can see that I have used calculate function in this case, and I have used customer count measure in this particular function because the first argument of calculate is going to be some expression or measure. And in the second part, I have used modifier, use relationship function of DAX. So use relationship can be used uh, to actually make use of even inactive relationship. So you can see that customer ID of sales and customer ID of customer, uh, they are having a relationship between them, but the relationship is actually in inactive state in the model. So I have mentioned the names of both of those columns of both of those tables over here in the use relationship function, and that is how I have obtained this particular model. So if I click on this, then I am able to get the customer count by transaction over here. It is saying that 4 customers had bought something from store 1, 11 customers from store 2, and 9 customers from store 3. So by default, customer count, this will be representing the number of customers, the count of customers who belong to same region as that of these stores. So suppose something happens and I by mistake actually deactivate this relationship or make this as inactive. Then what happens? Then if I click on this and suppose I click on make this I uncheck this, make this relationship active. So both of them are in inactive state. Then in this particular case, the filter context between store name and customer count is going to break. I'm having 20 in all these rows because now the filter context or I can see that store will not be able to filter customer count in this case. But I am getting the same answer in customer count by transaction. Now suppose I actually wanted this customer by count by region also, even if both of them becomes inactive, then what happens? Then in that case, I have obtained a second measure over here, customer count. I have used the same modifier, use relationship function of DAX, and in this case I have made use of these two columns, region ID of region and region ID of customer. And if I actually check this, then you can see that now store is able to filter customer count, and I am able to get customer count by region in this particular case. Remember, this customer count by transaction is using uh, this path, this particular filter propagation path over here, and the other measure, customer count by region, is actually making use of this particular path, path number one. Both of them are in active state, but still I am able to get the answer by making use of used relationship function of DAX. So guys, with this I conclude this video. I hope you find this video informative, and uh, if that is so, then please like this video, comment what you feel about this video, how we can improve our videos, and what else you want to be shown in our video. So share this video and subscribe to our channel. So thank you and stay tuned. Bye bye.